Hello, I'm Dinus the Mirror.
Tonight, the alarming spike in inflation soaring to its highest level in nearly 40 years, casting a shadow over America's entire economy. The stunning surge in December, 7% over a year ago. The pace of inflation slowing slightly over last month, still marking 3 straight months with inflation over 6%.
It is bringing a lot of unnecessary stress, and it's already a struggle, especially living paycheck to paycheck.
Lisa Gallegos is an elementary school office manager and a single mom of 3 in Colorado. Prices for gas and groceries are so high, like many Americans, she's had to start relying on a food bank.
I'm fine. I can go with no meal a day, but I want to make sure that my kids at least have, food in their bellies.
Inflation sending already sky-high prices soaring even higher across the board. Gas prices up 50% over last year. Used cars and trucks rising 37%. Meat, chicken, fish, and eggs 13% higher. Rent and mortgages going up 4%. Tonight, nearly half of all small businesses say they're having to raise their prices.
When the bills come in, what do you say?
I'm almost floored.
At their dry cleaning businesses in Maryland, Ishmael and Rochelle Wilson feel like they're the ones being taken to the cleaners. Plastic bags, shoulder protectors, receipt paper, all costing way more.
This time last year, we paid $24.50.
I feel there's no way to say it, but when you're out there, you feel like everybody's laughing at you.
We met Rita Rose at a women's homeless shelter in Hollywood. Until recently, she'd been living on the streets after being forced out of her apartment.
I was literally laying on benches and I was like scared to death. I didn't know what to do. It's just been hell. I'll be 66 years old in June. I have no business on the street.
People over age 50, like Rita, are becoming homeless in alarming numbers. They make up half of all unhoused people in California.
2020, which were our latest numbers, the estimates were for LA County, you had a roughly a 13 to 15% increase in homelessness, but a 20% increase in older adult homelessness.
Homelessness takes a heavy toll on older people.
The average life expectancy of a person experiencing homelessness is about 47 years old, compared to a person who's in permanent housing of about 77.
Few homeless persons survive past age 65.
For unhoused people, years of living on the streets actually accelerates the aging process. People in their 50s often show signs of illnesses or conditions more common in people in their 70s.
We do see this phenomenon of accelerated aging. We see things, such as urinary incontinence, dementia, just being able to complete activities of daily living becomes more challenging for this population.
And then you're talking about somebody who's just in their 50s.
Correct, yeah.
Experts say the housing shortage and steeply rising rents are the main reasons for the surge in homeless elders. Older people on fixed incomes, like the federal old age pension program, are being pushed out of housing they rented for years. For others, a one-time medical crisis or a major expense can end up in homelessness. California's Governor Gavin Newsom plans to spend an unprecedented $750 million this year on housing for the most vulnerable. Rita Rose, who receives disability payments, is waiting for a subsidized apartment to open up.
Really, if I got a chance for housing, of course I'd pay my bills.
Hoping for a basic need to be met and a measure of dignity in life's waning years. Rob Reynolds, Al Jazeera, Los Angeles.
Jack Ma, what an honor and a pleasure. Welcome to South Africa. It's your second visit to the continent.
Yes.
And you've come to launch this incredible prize, the Entrepreneurs Prize. You're here in Africa. You're in Africa because you believe in Africa and the future of the world. I want to first ask you, your first impressions of Africa when you came here last year and you visited a couple of countries. I think Kenya was one of them, Rwanda was one of them as well. What were your first impressions when you arrived into Africa for the first time?
Well, because I had a lot of wrong message, information about Africa, like a poor and messy and all this stuff before I came.
Yeah.
But when I landed, I was amazed by the nature. The people, they're so simple. When you look at their eyes, and full of passion. They want to change.
Yes.
Right. And I think it's a continent with young people. It's a continent with such a well-preserved nature, and especially the wildlife. I was amazed. So first, I think this is the land, the only continent that in the world that is preserved, and how we can develop in a way that protect the environment. Meanwhile, the economic growth.
Yes.
And the whole world should share with it and cheer for it. So this is something idea that I got.
And Africa is where you believe the future is. You were speaking with such great passion. I almost had tears in my eyes listening to you talking about Africa, saying that this is where the future is going to be. This is where the future of our entrepreneurs are going to be. And this is why you've invested at the Jack Ma Foundation and you've invested in the Entrepreneurs Project. Now, just tell us a bit about the project and why you've decided to invest into Africa.
Well, it's like, it reminds me, I do that 20 years ago in China, Alibaba. The same situation.
Yes.
So if you believe the future, and Africa is the future, if the Africa problem is not solved, the whole world is a big problem, because if Africa is poor, and then the world is good, it's going to be a big problem in the future for the world. And Africa that has a lot of huge potentials. I say, this is the land, young people. This is a land with great resources of inspiring people. I mean, these people are good. The only thing is that you should go and build up something. So I think the Asian in the past 30 years and next to me 10 years, Asia it takes the leadership of driving the world economy.
Right.
So I think next 30, 50 years, Africa will be the driver. The new driver is like Asia did not have it. 20 years ago, nobody said Asia will be able to drive because they don't have money, they don't have resources, they don't have technology, right? Now Asia is going to that stage. Let's say the next way is the Africa.
Yeah.
What we should do that is why the African entrepreneurs, the government, and everybody should build up the infrastructure. That's the opportunity. That's the investment. That's something we are planting for future.
And it's doing things differently because the way Alibaba was born, people said, well, the people from Harvard and this is how they did their online businesses. You came in with a different idea.
Yeah.
And that's the parallel that Africa's got because we can leapfrog all these technologies, right? When it comes to digital payments, when it comes to trading, however we do things, we can do things differently and actually lead the way in many of these technologies.
This is why I have this idea of entrepreneurs and young people, this prize for. I want to encourage it. We want to encourage the entrepreneurs to think differently. Because China e-commerce grow because of we have a terrible infrastructure of commerce. China mobile payment grow because we don't have a lot of banks. Africa, you don't have a lot of sophisticated banks. A lot of people don't have a bank cards, credit cards yet. This is opportunity. If you want to do the same way the Europe, American have been doing, difficult. Entrepreneurs have to think different.
And you believe that e-commerce has a massive potential on the continent as well?
Huge. E-commerce is designed for developing countries. E-commerce is designed for small business, not for big companies. Tell me any big companies, because of e-commerce they grow? A lot of small business because of e-commerce they grow. China, they suddenly become such a huge e-commerce.
Yeah.
So e-commerce will help Africa a lot.
Your massive focus on women, your own company on women. Tell me about the inspiration of women in success.
I think without the women leadership in Alibaba will never, because the men, they drive fast, but they don't sustain.
Yes.
The women in our companies, they are very wise, they're loyal, and they treat the customers, they pay attention to the user experience, so they are team players. So I think women in the 21st centuries will be the drivers of because the world does not need, in the past centuries, it's the competition of muscles, right? Now is the competition of love, of care, of wisdom.
Yeah.
And women have care, women have love. So, especially on the e-commerce, because you don't want to talking to a machine. You want to talking to people behind the machine. And women, they do so perfect job on that.
Mr. Ma, people are afraid of technology, artificial intelligence, big data. They're talking about robots and everything. People think that these things are going to take away their jobs, but it's also creating a whole new economy. What's your take on the future and AI and robotics and all these things?
Don't worry about technology. Every technology revolution, at the beginning, people worry about it. When the first technology comes, people worry. Second technology, the railway comes, people worry. Electricity, people worry, right?
Yeah.
When the car comes, people worry because they don't like all the horsemen will lose a job.
Yes.
This technology revolution will destroy all jobs, but create a lot of new jobs.
Yes.
And artificial intelligence and robots will never replace people. Only those people who do not work hard, do not have confidence, do not study, they will be replaced.
Jack Ma, an honor talking to you. My final question, what keeps you awake at night? Are there things in the world that you wish you could solve? Is there something that keeps you awake at night?
There are too many things keeping me wake up. That I can do only my part. I try my best to think the things I'm doing, the things we are doing, that can make a lot of people sleep well.
What is Africa? Is it the wildlife, the beautiful coasts, thriving cities? It is more than that. It is the people. Our 55 countries have many things in common. Our cultures bind us together. They give us strength and identity. They make us proud. By sharing our knowledge and working together, we're building a new Africa that's driven by investments, by game-changing infrastructure projects, and using transformative technology to change the way we live, work, and conduct business. Using our largest natural resource, our vast arable land, we are making advances in agriculture, developing new industries, creating jobs, and improving livelihoods. Together, we are moving forward on economic integration. By consolidating Africa's significant internal market to foster trade within the continent and with the world, Africa is open for business. We are building the Africa we want. So, what is the continent of the future? The answer is Africa.
By definition, I am ADOS. I have roots out of Mississippi, Terry, Mississippi to be exact, suburb outside of Jackson. I have roots in Illinois. I also have roots in San Angelo, Texas. But my story does not begin in America. I have roots in Nigeria and Sierra Leone. And my story won't end in America. As we continue to have this ADOS conversation, having the conversation and not including a plan to build international relationships and not including an Africa plan, but focusing on how you're going to triple, quadruple, and double down here in America is a plan you are planning to fail. And I'm not saying this. The numbers are saying this. The specialists, the experts are saying this. America's trending down. Africa is rising. And I get it. We built this country. Our bones are buried here in America. You know, what else? If it wasn't for us, these immigrants wouldn't be allowed over here. Okay, whatever. But at the end of the day, you have no ownership here in America. Or better yet, let me be specific. You don't control who could come in and out of America. You don't control any policies. So that argument is null and void. And at the end of the day, ADOS fought to integrate anyway. So focus on building international relationships. Focus on establishing yourself in Africa. Focus on building your legacy outside of America. Because in the words of Harry Belafonte, he said that Martin Luther King, MLK Jr. told him, "I am afraid that we have integrated into a burning house, and for some odd reason, ADOS wants to triple, quadruple, and double down into building, if that makes sense, building into this burning house." So international relationships in Africa, family. Dynasty Mirror, search for Uhuru. Until next time, family. Peace.